Good morning. It's time for the North Carolina Vinyl Picker Show. And this is not Wednesday, it's Friday. I'm a little late to the party again, but I've been busy this week. I've been out picking up stuff to show you on Sunday. So here we go with today's show. And I had really planned on doing this a couple days ago, but I had it all planned out and I'm ready to roll now. So let's go ahead and just get her done. And then Sunday we'll do the regular show. So we're going to talk about 5 electronic bands. I'm kind of switching gears a little bit. I've been listening to a lot of electronic bands. And today we're going to talk about the number one we're going to talk about is Tomato. And then we're going to go into Vangelis. And then we're going to go to Jean-Michel Jarre. And then we're going to talk about who's number 4, Kitaro. And number 5 would be Yanni. So these 5, and then there's going to be 5 more after this probably. That'll probably be a part 2 if this does well. I did a video the other day, and it was the Prague Hat. It was about Edward and his stream contest or thread, whatever you want to call it. And it hasn't really kicked off and done very well. So I changed the picture on there and I changed the verbiage on there. And it's fall. He wants to show 5 records about the fall. So I kind of did mine where fall goes into winter. And I showed a picture of what I took when I was up in Alaska. And it was just beautiful up there. If you ever get the chance to go to Alaska, I know it's very expensive. And it cost an arm and a leg when we went. So, but even now, it's even 2 years later, it's even more. But it's just breathtaking up there. It's the last frontier. So enough of that. Let's get into it and let's talk about Tomita. And Tomita was born in 1932, and I'm going back to the oldest member of these 5 people of this group. And he was born, like I said, in 1932. He was a pioneer of electronic music. His first LP in 1972 was called Electric Samurai. And he passed away in 2016 at the age of 84 years old. He made some fantastic records. And here's a few of the ones that I have. This is I guess this would be his second album, which I really thought was his first. But I think Tony... 2 from the trunk. I think Tony showed this. Snowflakes Are Dancing. Kind of looks like Mr. Spock on there, or Mr. Spock's father. One of the, and then he came out with Pictures at an Exhibition, and this was also done by Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And these albums are all like, I think I paid $5 a piece for these or something like that. You can pick these albums up pretty cheap, and they're fantastic. Electronic music. If you love electronic music, then you would love this. Here's the Firebird Suite. And these are all on the Red Seal. They sound incredible. And then he did the album Planets. And then he did the Bermuda Triangle. It's on the coral color. And I was lucky enough to find another copy of this when I was up at the record show a couple weeks ago. And it came out in a blue, like a light blue color too, that I haven't found it yet, but I'm looking for it. So I got 2 of the coral ones. Cosmos, Tomita. And then he did this one that came out promotional copy, and it kind of shows all the first 5 albums. And it's a white label promo that I found for probably $3 or something. Then he did a Bolero. He did Bolero. And then another special DJ copy for programming with the Plasma Sympathy Orchestra. And this is also a promo. And found this one for, I think it says right on there, it says $5. So his records are really not that expensive. So if you want to hear some great electronic music, you might want to pick up some of his records. coming in at number 2. These are really in order of their age is what I put them in. And it's Vangelis. And Vangelis, he began in the 60s with a couple albums, and he did an album called 666, which is a Prague masterpiece, which I don't own. I've always tried to get one, but they're pretty expensive, and they came out on the Vertigo label, actually. He moved to Paris and built his own studio, Nemo, and he joined with John Anderson from 79 to 86 and did a series of records, and they had a kind of a sorting, falling out a little bit. He passed away. When did he pass away? Vangelis died in May of 2022, and he died in Paris, I believe. Here's his album, Mask. Now, he has lots of records. He did a lot more than what I have here. The one he's probably most known for, I'm going to show here in a minute. And this is Heaven and Hell. And John Anderson is on this album with a song called So Long and So Clear. And later they redid that song when they did their string of albums. Here's the album that he's most famous for. Of course, it's Chariots of Fire, which I think he won an Academy Award for Best Soundtrack. And he also did a couple other really huge. He did like Blade Runner, and he did a bunch of other ones. Here's Opera Sauvage. And this one here's a really good album. And that's all I got. So I'm missing like about 12 or 14 records of his. You know, they're easy to find. And those are like $5 records. So if you can find them. Some of them will get into the 80s, and it's, you know, a little unnerving listening to the 80s music. Sometimes, you know, they do too much of that synth stuff. But there's a lot of people who love that stuff. So, but for me, you know, being born in the 50s, and then so the 70s was my era. Coming in at number 3 is Jean-Michel Jarre. And I can remember listening to him when I was in the Navy on my first ship. And that would have been late 70s. And the album I had then, of course, was his first album, Oxygen. Fantastic record. And if you don't know Jean-Michel Jarre, that's a good where to start. You can start with this one, and then you can move on to this one, Equinox. Another fantastic record. And then he did Les Chants Maganais, something like that. My French is not good. I took French in high school, but I didn't last too long. My mom spoke French in the house, and my grandparents, of course, were from France, from Canada. They migrated over. So there you go. This is a great album. And then this one here, I never thought I'd find a copy of this, but I found it at a record show. And I think I paid like $6 for it, something really cheap. And this album goes for north of $30. It's the Concerts in China. And Jean-Michel Jarre was from Lyon, France. His first album was that album there I showed you, Oxygen. He was born in 1948. He sold millions of copies, and the first Western musician official invited to perform in China. And this was the record he made when he was over there. Double album. It has a lot of the Oxygen and Equinox on that. And this is a later album called Rendezvous. And then I'm missing another album called Zoolook or Zoolander or something like that. I don't have that record. So that's on my list, it's on my want list. And that's another $5, $6, $7 record. It's not real expensive. Coming in at number 4, we have the number 4. And number 4 is Kitaro. And I'm going to show you a few records of his. And Kitaro, let's see here. He was born in 1953. Musician, composer, record producer. One of the most prominent of the new age artists was Kitaro. And here is an album called Oasis that I found in a bargain bin for like $3. This one here is a nice, it's got the Obi on here, and it's called Silver Cloud. And this was, I think I found this in an antique store. But his records are fairly inexpensive also. This is called the Silk Road. This one has water damage on here. This one I found in a thrift store for like $3 or something. The Silk Road. And then this one here is called Tenku, Tenku, Tenku Kitaro, with the hype sticker there. And what else do I got? I got my best, Kitaro's Greatest Hits. And that's not his full name, but I can't pronounce his full name, being he's Japanese and I'm not. Coming in at number 4. Was that number 4? Oh my goodness, I only had 5 to do and I screwed them up. Number 5, Tangerine Dream. Coming in number 5 is Tangerine Dream. And Tangerine Dream was founded in 1967 by Edgar Froese and Christopher Frank, the only member consistent until he passed away in 2015. And he was born in Russia in 1954, Edgar Froese. And he has since passed away, like I said, in 2015. And he made some fantastic records. He made some solo records too. This one here is Fedra. I think that's the name of it. One of the Tangerine Dream albums I have. And I have Stratosphere. And these are the only 2 I have on vinyl. But there's a lot of records that they did as well. Probably 16 or 20 records. They did all kinds of records. So if you're into this type of music, you might want to pick up some of those. And I have a bonus one here. I have Yanni at the end here. He was born in 1954 in Greece. His first LP was Optimistic, something like that. And I have it, it's only available on CD, and I have it coming in the mail. His first band included John Tesh. John Tesh was in his first band. And don't sleep on these 2 records I'm going to show you. I found this record at the Clemens Record Show as well. And along with that other album I found from Tomita. This is Keys to Imagination. I only had this before on CD. But this album is not easy to find on vinyl. So if you see it in the wild, pick it up. I think I paid $5-6 for this. Maybe it was 10. But I don't have to listen to it on CD any longer. I can listen to it on vinyl. And then this other one here I had is called Out of Silence. But this doesn't sound kind of like the later Yanni, where, you know, sometimes they call it like elevator music or something. But these first 2 albums, I think you'd really enjoy those. If you like jazz fusion, if you like new age music that's more closer to rock or closer to jazz, I think you'd like these first 2 records, maybe more than his later ones. So that's all I got. I gave you 6 of them instead of 5, but I gotta dig up 5 more. If you like the series, let me know down below, and I can go ahead and pull another 5. Some other bands I was thinking about doing was Richard Heyman, Synergy, Michael Hedges, Mort Garrison, Wendy Carlos, those 5 there. Maybe I'll pull my records out for those and do those next in a couple weeks or so. That's all I got. This Sunday, I'll be doing the prog bin. I'm going to go through, figure out which ones I've already showed you, and then continue on. And then we'll move over to this here, and we'll get it all done. I'm planning on doing it. I know I took a break, but you all take care out there. I'm going to go up to the park and do some walking around, and then go to the post office and mail out some stuff I sold at my store. And if you're so inclined and you want to buy some stuff, you go to eBay, and there'll be a link down below, and then you can buy CDs, DVDs. I got VHS going out today, and I don't need those anymore. I don't have a VHS player. So I've been selling those. I've been selling some 8-tracks and some vinyl records, some CDs, some Blu-rays and stuff like that. So if you're interested, there's a link down below and you can check it out. That's all I got for today. We'll see you later, and we'll see you in, 2 days? We'll see you Sunday. So, bye for now. Thanks for my new subscribers.